Trump announced that he is going to meet with Putin in Budapest at a date to be determined because only he can end a war.
I don't think any president's ever ended a war, frankly. One war, I did 8 of them, Maria, right? And, but I don't know, did Bush ever end? Do you think Biden ended a war?
This guy has made it clear how he stands. He's sitting down at Mar-a-Lago after he got elected president, and this was his exact quote. He's talking to a bunch of folks at Mar-a-Lago.
Jimmy Kimmel and Tim Walz just went nuclear on Trump, and it's somehow messier than a toddler with spaghetti at a campaign dinner. Tweets are flying, egos are shattered, and the internet is in full meltdown mode. You thought you'd seen Trump lose it before. Think again. This isn't just a roast, it's a political car crash in slow motion. Buckle up, because this is one spectacle you won't be able to look away from.
No president, nobody has ever ended a war other than him. All the other wars ended mysteriously by themselves. But he ended 8 of them. And that, kids, is why it's so important to never learn anything. It damages...
And we're going to give you a tax cut. At the same time, he was telling workers they get paid too much already. That's who this guy is. You tell me who in Wisconsin is sitting around saying, damn, I wish they'd give billionaires tax cuts and screw...
Ah, Trump, the man, the myth, the never-ending Twitter storm. Just when you think the chaos has peaked, Jimmy Kimmel steps up to the mic, and suddenly America leans in. You can almost feel the tension in the air, part dread, part excitement, because when Kimmel takes aim, it's not just comedy. It's a roast, a reckoning, and a reality check all wrapped in one late-night punchline.
The president has also chosen, and I stress this, chosen to tear up the values that once made America the shining light of the world. Now, in this land of the free and home of the brave, we have university students being swept up, shoved into unmarked vans, and fathers being tossed into Salvadorian gulags without a hint of due process. So I want to be real clear about this. If you say you love freedom, but you don't believe freedom is for everybody, then the thing you love isn't freedom.
It's that exact moment when someone unwraps a gift you never wanted, and somehow it's even worse than you imagined. That's Trump facing Kimmel tonight. And Kimmel, he's not just cracking jokes, he's delivering a full-blown comedic demolition. No filters, no mercy, just precision punches and perfectly timed jabs. By the end, there's nothing left untouched, not even the hairpiece.
Reportedly made more than $1 billion in crypto alone over the past year. And I guess $1 billion isn't enough, because he's also hawking watches. If you watch Fox News or Newsmax for more than like an hour, you will see Donald Trump, our president, doing this.
Hello, everyone. It's President Donald J. Trump, and it's Trump time. Check out this red beauty. It's one of my new watches. Wear it proudly on your wrist.
Yeah. Don't wear it around your neck. I don't want to get...
It starts off innocently. Kimmel flashes that trademark grin, the one that silently says, "I'm about to ruin your week," and make America laugh while doing it. Trump, ever confident, probably expects a light tease, maybe a jab or two. But gentle? That word doesn't exist in Kimmel's vocabulary. What follows is a masterclass in comedic precision. Every tweet, every wild rant, every headline-making stunt from the past year gets dismantled with surgical wit. It's not just a monologue, it's a full-scale comedic autopsy, and the results are brutally hilarious.
I wish they'd take my health care away. I wish they'd underfund my public school. I wish they would make my job more difficult, more dangerous. And then at the end of the day, I wish they'd make me work till I'm 75 years old. No one's saying that. No one's asking for that agenda. What they're asking for is to be treated fairly with dignity. That's what we have. So now I can go back to my constituents, Republican constituents, and say, this is the reality of what you're facing. So again, there is going to be pain. The richness of a sitting senator like Tommy Tuberville or Elon Musk telling us we're going to have to endure pain. Are you kidding me?
The audience is going wild, laughing so hard their faces hurt, and you can almost feel the collective disbelief. How is this man still president? Oh, right, he's not. But somehow this feels even worse. Kimmel isn't just cracking jokes, he's performing a masterclass in destruction. His impressions, his expressions, his pauses, every move feels like an attack aimed straight at Trump's ego, now barely holding on for life. He doesn't throw punchlines carelessly, he crafts them like a symphony of chaos, perfectly timed, perfectly cruel. Every gesture, every imitation nails Trump's bluster the wild hands. The self-obsession, the idea that the world spins just for him. Kimmel mirrors it, exaggerates it until it becomes a living cartoon, a Looney Tunes version of political meltdown, brutal, hilarious, unstoppable. And then it happens, the one line, the knockout blow, the crowd gasps. Trump's imaginary jaw drops. He blinks like a lost owl under the spotlight, wondering, wait, did he just say that? Oh, yes, he did.
Has been doing his part to bring the two sides together by calling one of the sides the party of hate, evil, and Satan. Hate, evil, and Satan. And that's why they call him the peace president. Teddy Roosevelt had a press conference / pity party today. He bitched and moaned and patted himself on the back so many times he almost dislocated his shoulder. He played all the hits. He bragged about winning the elections in Georgia in 2016 and 2024. He again claimed the election was stolen from him in Georgia in 2020. The blaming and the bragging, he cannot stop.
Kimmel just served him a full-course meal of shame with a side of embarrassment, and the crowd is roaring like they've just witnessed history. And honestly, they kind of have, but Kimmel isn't finished. He dives straight into Trump's tweet. History like opening a time capsule of pure delusion, every typo. Every all-caps rant, every random claim gets exposed under Kimmel's spotlight. He doesn't just read them, he performs them, adding sound. Effects, wild gestures, and perfect delivery. Turning chaos into art. The audience is losing it. Laughing so hard they're crying, you can almost picture Trump, sitting in his golden tower, sweating, realizing his so-called genius tweets have become stand-up material, and just when it seems Kimmel's done, he goes meta-mocking. Trump mocking himself, flipping the absurdity right back at him with sniper-like precision. Every claim about size, popularity, or intelligence gets shattered like a cheap plastic trophy. And all Trump can do is sit there in silence, or worse, type another meltdown tweet that only digs the hole deeper. Then out of nowhere, Tim Walz steps in, not loud, not flashy, but devastating. In a whole new way, while Kimmel swings like a hammer, Walz cuts like a scalpel, calmly dissecting Trump's failures. Piece by piece, each word measured, each punch subtle, showing that sometimes the sharpest hits are the quietest ones.
He negotiated the damn trade deal with them. If trade is so bad with Canada, he was the guy who signed the deal. It defies logic. But look, I think this is how he ran business. He stiffed contractors. He stiffed workers. He doesn't pay his bills. He declares bankruptcy. The one thing is, his claim that he's the business president, he is the worst possible business executive that I have ever witnessed. And I hope, this is what we need. I need the business community to speak up. The Wall Street Journal.
Walz begins with calm precision, his voice steady, almost soothing as he lays out the facts, the figures, the timeline, and then, without warning, he drops that one line, the kind that slices through Trump's chaos like a laser. The crowd erupts with that dry, knowing laugh, the kind that says, "We see it." And yes, it's absurd. Walz doesn't shout, doesn't flail, he just presents reality so clearly that Trump ends up looking like a toddler, trying to juggle chainsaws. It's poetic. Every failed policy, every reckless decision, every meltdown laid bare with surgical clarity, and the best part is he doesn't need exaggeration. The truth alone is hilarious, but he sprinkles in just enough sarcasm to make people nearly choke on their popcorn. You can hear the whispers in the crowd. Is this real? Are we actually watching someone dismantle Trump this calmly? And yes, they are, because Walz's brilliance lies in restraint. He's relentless without raising his voice. Every line builds like a slow ticking bomb until that final blow lands, and the room erupts not in anger, but in awe, laughter, mixing with disbelief as Trump's ego collapses. Under the weight of simple logic, it's not just a takedown, it's performance art masquerading as political commentary.
Kai has some kind of a YouTube show, and he took her for a ride during a round of golf, and even there he couldn't stop tooting his own horn.
How has it been in the White House so far?
It's been great. Having a good time. We're doing a great job. I stopped 7 wars.
Yeah.
7. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Your taxes are coming down. See, everyone's happy, honey.
That's awesome.
Awesome, Grandpa. You're awesome.
Trump is somewhere spiraling into existential dread, probably staring at polls and wishing he could go back to tweeting nonsense and peace, but the night isn't done, because Kimmel isn't about to let Walz walk away with all the subtle glory he storms back onto the stage with the energy of a man fueled by pure political chaos, channeling the spirit of every scandal in American history, and goes straight for Trump's quirks, the tiny, absurd habits that make you question evolution itself, the hand, gestures, the hair, the endless craving for validation. Nothing is safe, the audience roars, every punchline lands like a heavyweight blow delivered by a comedian in a clown suit. It's brutal, hilarious, and impossibly captivating. Kimmel goes bigger, pulling out props, slides, even charts that turn Trump's time in office into a Saturday morning cartoon. Every failed promise, every chaotic policy, every self-inflicted disaster mapped out with the flair of a parody gone too far. By the time he's done, Trump's presidency looks less like history and more like a blooper reel for democracy. But as Kimmel brings the house down, Walz works in quiet contrast, calm, sharp. Methodical, he's not roasting, he's revealing. Each fact landing with sniper-like precision, showing what leadership should look Like as Kimmel burns the circus, Walz rebuilds the tent, it's chaos and clarity colliding live on stage.
Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a defense, not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye, just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared. To be clear, there's no way for us to know whether they were actually criminals or not, because they refused to give them a trial. We're supposed to just take their word for it. And when duly elected members of Congress tried to exercise their constitutional right of oversight,
Every point Walz makes lands harder than a surprise audit by the time he's done. The audience isn't just laughing, they're nodding wide-eyed in disbelief that someone could so calmly and methodically dismantle Trump without ever raising a voice. It's textbook demolition executed with elegance, mesmerizing in its precision, and when the applause dies down, there's a moment of collective reflection. The room realizing they've just witnessed two completely different kinds of brilliance. Collide Kimmel, the loud, chaotic master of mockery, turning Trump into a living punchline that will fuel meme culture for years, and Walz, the calm, analytical tactician, disassembling Trump's credibility piece by piece like a surgeon with a scalpel. It's art meeting logic, theater meeting truth. Kimmel dominates with showmanship, forcing everyone to laugh at the absurdity of Trump's public antics, while Walz follows with that quiet, devastating clarity, reminding everyone that beneath the laughter lies a serious critique of leadership. The two of them together form a perfect 1-2 punch. Kimmel grabs attention, Walz drives the point home, and somewhere in the distance, Trump sits in his golden chair spinning, muttering, plotting a comeback that will never land. His ego bruised, his image battered, and his approval ratings hanging by a thread. But Kimmel isn't finished. He storms back with narrative destruction, recounting the past, twisting contradictions into punchlines, weaving stories so absurd they sound fictional until you remember every single one actually happened. It's chaos and clarity colliding once again. And by the end, the crowd isn't just entertained, they're exhausted, exhilarated, and fully aware that no one roasts like Kimmel and no one exposes like Walz.
Did get some exciting news this weekend. According to a new poll from YouGov, which is a serious polling site, or they were before this, I am more popular than the President of the United States. The guy who keeps saying I have no ratings? Well, that makes two of us. They polled more than 1,000 people, and I lead Trump by 16 points. I'm at +3, he's at -13. Is nice, but it feels like, considering the fact that I'm not a convicted felon friend of Jeffrey Epstein, and I've never paid off a porn star or sent a team of
And all the while, Trump's legacy is being rewritten in real time, not by historians, not by analysts, but by a comedian with flawless timing and a mic that cuts sharper than any editorial. While Kimmel scorches the stage, Walz keeps the pressure. Steady his calm dismantling of Trump's decisions. Feels almost surgical. He highlights every inconsistency, every lapse in judgment, every hollow promise, and exposes them for what they are, not through drama, but through truth, and that's the brilliance of it. Walz doesn't need theatrics, because truth, when delivered with precision and confidence, becomes its own form of comedy, its own form of power. As the night draws to a close, the audience realizes they've just witnessed something historic. Kimmel has guaranteed that Trump will never again be taken seriously in the world of satire, while Walz has ensured that politically his credibility is now in ashes. Together, they've turned exposure into an art form, leaving Trump scrambling to recover, tweeting into the void, issuing statements that sound more like damage control than leadership. But it's too late. The blow has landed. The empire of ego has cracked. By the time the metaphorical credits roll, the stage is silent. The laughter fades, and what remains is the image of a man undone by his own performance. Trump's ego battered, his image collapsing, and his legacy no longer a monument of power, but a cautionary tale carved in comedy.
Campaign, and I just have to start by asking you what went through your head, what went through your mind when you heard those remarks from Donald Trump in the Oval Office yesterday?
Well, Jen, it's good to see you, and thank you for asking. It's been pretty traumatic in Minnesota, and I think Minnesotans, certainly every Minnesotan knows Melissa Hortman's name, and most decent people do. What goes through my mind is nothing surprises me. There's no compassion, there's no empathy in this man, and there's no sense of governing for the whole country. We had a horrific act of political violence and the loss of an exceptional...
Because in the end, this isn't just another night of jokes. It's a full-scale masterclass in demolition. Kimmel delivers the spectacle, Walz delivers the precision, and Trump, well, he gets the experience of a lifetime. If by lifetime you mean a Ruthless, hilarious public reckoning that will echo through history in GIFs, memes, and endless YouTube rewinds. It's glorious, it's chaotic, it's the perfect storm of comedy and consequence. The kind of event that makes you laugh first and realize the weight of it later. Kimmel lights up the stage with energy timing and that trademark smirk, turning every absurd Trump moment into a weaponized punchline. Walz follows with quiet, lethal accuracy, his facts cutting deeper than any insult together. They craft the ultimate takedown comedy, fused with truth spectacle, wrapped in substance. And just when you think the chaos has peaked, Kimmel drops the grand finale, the big guns, a montage of Trump's most infamous moments, the rambling speeches, the awkward hand gestures, the self-congratulatory pauses, all slowed down, exaggerated, and remixed into a blooper reel. For the ages, sound effects added, crowd roaring, Kimmel narrating every misstep like a sports commentator of absurdity. The audience is howling, gasping for air, laughing so hard they can barely stay seated. It's not just roasting, it's art. Trump's ego becomes the stage, his legacy, the punchline. And by the end, one truth is undeniable. This is how you destroy a president on prime time, one joke, one fact, and one perfectly timed observation at a time.
Also threatening NBC because he doesn't like what Al Sharpton has to say about him on MSNBC. He wrote, "This is just one of the many reasons that the Federal Communications Commission should look into the license of NBC, which shows almost exclusively positive Democrat content. Likewise, ABC fake news about the same thing, 97% negative to Republicans." And then he posted this photo of Al Sharpton looking cool as hell, by the way.
Walz attacks with surgical precision, calm and composed. He dismantles Trump's record piece by piece, turning every failed policy, every botched deal, and every self-inflicted disaster into a slow-motion display of absurdity. Each point lands like a perfectly sharpened blade, his dry wit cutting deeper than outrage, making the audience laugh and wince at the same time. Trump sits there glaring, realizing too late that facts can humiliate just as powerfully as mockery, while Kimmel thrives in chaos, all energy and exaggeration, transforming every Trump gesture, every tweet, every inflated boast into pure spectacle. Walz operates in silence and control, clarity and irony. His tools of choice, where Kimmel's comedy roars, Walz's critique whispers, and both hit with devastating precision. It's a duel of styles, one loud, theatrical, and explosive, the other cool, methodical, and unrelenting. By the end, Trump isn't just defeated, he's undone, stripped of pretense and poise, flailing. Helplessly under the dual assault of laughter and logic, the audience can barely contain themselves, half roaring in hysterics, half shaking their heads in disbelief. It's more than entertainment, it's revelation. Every tweet, every contradiction, every hollow claim transformed into proof of his unraveling. The crowd knows they've witnessed something rare, a perfect storm of humor and truth, leaving Trump exposed, humiliated, and permanently etched into memory as the man who lost not just the argument but the room.